Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. Today we are in the AL Choppy. This is not going to be the absolute best review of the ship. I'm not a huge fan of these reskins. We went over the AL New Jersey. I knew that was going to be a fan favorite, and there's already some potential controversy about that, which I kind of want to do a video to cover just to make sure that, the facts and all the logic is out there. But this is basically just a reskin Choppy with better HE penetration and less fire chance. It's nothing amazing. You will be getting more damage overall in terms of your ability to penetrate battleship armor. We know that standard 152s with 1/6 penetration do not penetrate most armor at tier 7, but I believe this is either 1/5 or quarter pen, which gives you a lot better penetration. I'm not 100% sure on the values. Hopefully someone in the comments below can tell me, but a little bit about gameplay here. There was an enemy division on the other team, and I'm with the same mates from yesterday, Relativity, and Heavy Lag. And Heavy is a great battleship player, and Relativity is a great player overall. So I'm just trying to get some decent replays here. I'm also just playing the game to have fun. You guys saw it on stream last night. We played solo for 4 games last night, got top in every game and lost every game. There was just zero ability to carry, which is unfortunately legend sometimes. We all know it. We've all been there. But anyway, I took a shot at that Brandenburg, and it was honestly not the best shot because of the turning circle of these Russian-type cruisers. It's not the best, but we are, able to lob these guys at medium to long ranges here. We do not have beyond range, but we do have refill station here, which allows us to lob at this decent range here. And unfortunately, we already lose in Eastern Dragon, so as Relativity says, good job. But we knew that Friesland was in a division with that AL New Jersey, and this is the shot, I think is this one, that, yeah, we lose half of our health in one salvo. Not the best position there, Aaron. So yeah, right off the rip, we're down about half of our health. And again, I shoot for some reason. This position allows you to dodge. As Relativity said that he was in the cap, and we can see by our concealment there that our radar covers the cap, which is one huge advantage of the Russians. That and the either intuitive. One of the perks adds a little bit of time to your radar there, so you can get nearly a 20-second radar. But we're going to go ahead and take some shots at him, and hopefully our team does the same. We actually do a decent job that time of dodging, and we're trying to push ourselves out of range now. Our team does have a good presence on A, but they need to develop those crossfires, and that is the difficult part of playing a battleship. A lot of people don't understand. They think it's just getting free broadsides, and I hate when I see, replays, even from myself, of battleship games where they're just sitting, the targets are just sitting flat broadside to them. There's no positioning, there's no angling, and it's like, well, yes, battleships are easy to play if you get flat broadsides the entire game, but that does not happen for us this game. These enemy teammates kind of know what they're doing, which is evident by the Friesland getting close up to that island, potentially using his hydro, even though Relativity's torps can't do any damage to him. But we have to kite out here. Those battleships are pushing up while also doing some DPM, and you can see this Friesland is poking shots every now and then. But we've evened it out in terms of killing one of their battleships for one of our cruisers, even though our cruiser, I think, just sailed into position. And while this Friesland is spotted here, you can see we lose the island symbol, and I'm using auto-aim here to take a few chunks off of him. And this is where that penetration is going to help you tremendously. Shooting over islands like that and doing damage to definitely lightly armored targets. Now, we know auto-aim is not the best way to play, but is the only way to lob in this situation, which is honestly one of the only benefits that this game has over PC. You probably would not be able to aim a shot as well on PC without that auto-aim feature, and we kind of need auto-aim. I think it does throw a few shots the wrong way a couple times, but we need auto-aim in a console game. That being said, I don't think it needs to be as strong as it is, where it kind of overcorrects you sometimes, and especially when you aim and it throws it like 360 behind the ship. That should definitely change. But again, we're in kind of a tricky position here. Either they're shooting me because I'm in a new ship, because I'm a CC, or because I'm a cruiser. This is why cruisers need to utilize island cover. Number 1, you don't have the armor to tank these shots in most cases. Number 2, battleships should be tanking them for you. But number 3, I want to shoot at cruisers when I'm in a battleship. So if I can, if I'm behind an island, they can't shoot me. But this is a decent position here. We are losing ships, but we're tied at the moment. Now they are down a destroyer, which should be a huge advantage to us. There should be no reason that our destroyer at sea is ever spotted again. unless, you know, that Friesland goes over there. So we have a good presence at C, but our team at A is very weak. Right now I'm just doing DPM, damage per minute here, or DPS, damage per time, which is my job right now. My radar is back up in 15 seconds. We are not running fully packed, but you can see that Friesland farming there, and with our position earlier, we were able to hit him as another shot from the Massachusetts comes in and tags us a little bit here. We're kind of honestly lucky that wasn't a Citadel, but, you know, thank goodness for the overpen mechanic, right? We only really realize the overpen mechanic when we're in a battleship, but when we're in a cruiser, we're like, we love the overpen mechanic, right? I actually think those were a few penetrations, and those should have happened, you know, but just keep that in mind. A lot of people are like, well, overpans, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, they save you sometimes when you're in a cruiser. Now, granted, when the cruiser is broadside, I don't think they should be overpenned more than they're penned or citadeled, but that's a conversation for another video. Now, in that meantime, we did go ahead and radar the Friesland, and unfortunately, the team was ready for Relativity. Relativity shot him and got him fairly low. But unfortunately, they traded health, so he is very low himself. The AL New Jersey is burning, and we're going to try and finish him off here. I'm also going to reposition towards A. There's another cruiser over there, but in the meantime, that Friesland actually gets himself spotted, and I am just going to shoot as many times as possible, trying to lead different targets. All we need is 2 or 3 penetrations here or there, and actually, the Le Terrible goes ahead and gets him. But again, he was the destroyer at C. There was no reason for him to rush into B without support. We had that Friesland at a disadvantage, and as a result, he is now dead. You are no use to your team when you're dead. Now, if you go in and take out 4 ships, okay, maybe you were used to our team. But this is the point of the game where we talked about throwing games, and here is the unfortunate circumstance that we put ourselves in. That Cleveland was at A, and I had told Relativity to get out of there, and he does a fantastic job dodging. If I'm going to be honest, I wanted some better hits than I got here, but there's those 5 penetrations, not that much damage, but he's given us a broadside here, and again, we talk about overpens and such. 7 pens, 2 overpens, and 2 shatters. I'm not sure what I'm shattering on, but it feels like when you're in this situation, you want it to be Citadels, and the game never gives it to you. So, but now we are down on ships. One of our other battleships at sea died somehow. I don't understand when you have the cap why people push, you know, excessively forward. You can push forward, develop a better angle, but there's no reason that you need to push, you know, that far into the cap. But now we have a decision to make, and I'm watching this game back, and this is why I don't like watching my replays. I can either push into A here or do what I did, and what I did was sit behind this island here and provide the crossfire DPM for Heavy here. Now, Heavy is nearly full health. He has positioned himself well on that island and mitigated damage while also dishing out damage. Him and Relativity both get good scores. So, again, it usually comes down to who your blueberries are. There was a division on our team, and there was a division on the other team, which is why the division argument is just pure nonsense. It comes down to you know, how you play as a team. I honestly take more responsibility, though, when I'm in a division, because you do make up more of the team. But this situation, the Massachusetts is pushing in, which kind of prevents me from going into A. And here is where the Chapiev will shine. We have this island cover here, and my plan is as soon as I get a fire, now our fire chance is reduced. You can see we have 120 approximately target hits here and 2 fires. That is not good. I feel like fire chance sometimes doesn't work as it should, and then when I'm in a battleship, I feel like it works too well. So it's all about your perspective. I think a lot of people forget that, and that's why there's, you know, 80 conspiracy theories in the game. But that being said, this Massachusetts beaches here, and we go ahead and switch to the AP as he is on fire. And we could have stuck with the HE. Our HE does do a lot of damage, and you know, it does have the potential to light fires, but I wanted to make sure we're trying to get him off as quickly as possible. And there is 5,000 and 6,000 every 6.9 seconds. Nice, right? I think that is our reload with refill station and the commander we are running. We are actually not running AL Chapiev Commander. I think it is a complete waste. The only commander I think is truly worth it, and honestly, like we mentioned in our video yesterday, so for all the clowns commenting like, well, you just get free stuff, I literally said that I think the AL New Jersey Commander is bordering. I don't think it's pay to win, because I don't think any commander yet is truly pay to win, but it is bordering on pay to win because it is better than Sims. And it has that firefighter perk. It basically has all the best perks in that commander. Now here again is a situation, we know that that Kansas is in the middle here, so I could have pushed into A, although my concealment is not the best, and tried to cap A and tick the points, but I wanted to do the damage here as relative, or I'm sorry, I keep saying relativity. Heavy works his way into Bravo. By doing so, Heavy is mitigating the enemy point influx while we are gaining our points in C. If he can stay alive long enough and we can do a lot of damage to the other ships, then we can probably trade him and get that cap or stop their point influx. As you can see, our points are ticking right now and theirs are not. Unfortunately, this Kansas makes a pretty smart play here, and what you don't see is that Shores on the bottom, like south side of the map there, has been farming Heavy for a good majority of this time. If I do have to give a compliment besides, you know, the division and you know, the enemy team, it is to the Shores on the enemy team. He did a fantastic job of putting himself in position. The Shores is one of those ships that is not easy to play at all. It's not a bad ship in any right, but it does not have that penetration that we have on this ship, and it doesn't really have the fire chance, as well as being a very non-maneuverable cruiser. But Heavy saw this Kansas, tried to ram him, but unfortunately he was burning twice, and he was on damage con, so he could not put it out, and he got broadsided from that Massachusetts. Heavy and I were talking about it, and that was definitely the play to make, but that Shores and our Iowa kind of sitting in the back the entire game made it impossible. If that Iowa stays in his position at C, he could potentially get fire spam, but also he can provide and not allow for Heavy to get crossfired. In the meantime, though, this Kansas is on damage con, so we're going to farm him and try and kill him and then maybe work our way into B. By working our way into B instead of A, we stop their point influx. Now, we cannot do this and shoot because we only have 13,000 health because of my poor positioning earlier. So this is why I always say to utilize island cover when you can, but sometimes you can put yourself in that reversing kiting position and just go forward to dodge shots, but that was not the case in the beginning of this game. Now we can see that the Kansas's turrets are turned, so we're not at any risk here, and he's also on a double fire, so by the time that he gets, you know, himself repositioned, he will be dead, so we're not really worried about being shot here. What we're trying to do is make sure he does not get within range of that Massachusetts. Now the plan kind of all, you know, falls apart when the Massachusetts gets into C here and ruins that plan. Now, no matter what we do, we're going to have to make sure that we kill this Kansas. Unfortunately, we don't get the kill there, and make sure that we kill the Massachusetts at the very least. So, 140,000 damage, 10 defends, 6 fires for 200 target hits, but the game is now over. It was a well-fought game. I enjoy games like this a lot more than I do the absolute raffle stomps, as they're called. Last night's stream was just the epitome of that. Nobody wanted to play the objective. Everyone wanted to hunt damage and just abandon their flank. I'm not sure what possesses people to sail to their side, to the opposite side, leave their spawn and just, you know, spawn A, go C. It doesn't make any sense to me. But here is one of my favorite parts in the match, and then we're just going to go to the review here. Is I think the Iowa spams A, and that is not the play at all. We're down on points. It doesn't make sense to go into A right now. And if you don't understand that, then you maybe need to take a few steps back and look at the score and how the game works. They are taking 6 points to our none right now because we don't have any of those caps. So it'd be absolutely silly. There's no reason to go in A right now. It just doesn't make sense. And then the Iowa, who was now at the 2 line, bordering the 2 line, is telling me to get into A. I just thought that was funny. The XP results kind of show why, but there wasn't much he could do beyond stay at his side, but I don't think retreating in that certain situation is the play. But I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the end of the game here. You guys don't have to sit here and watch us lose the game for the next 50 seconds. Here is the end of the game here. We talked about that Shores. He was actually angling pretty well. So GG's to him and GG's to the enemy team. They did what they needed to do in order to win. Again, proving that the division argument is pretty much null and void, as we had an excellent division on our team, but we still lost. So it comes down to all of the players here. That Iowa, who was alive, got around 900. And again, you can't really blame him too much. He doesn't know what I'm going to do. But we do get a nice score here and showing you guys the AL Chapiev. I'm going to go ahead and throw it to myself from the future here, and he's going to go over the ship stats if you really want to see them. But yeah, Aaron from the future, take it away. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the stats for the AL Chapiev here. We'll compare them to the normal Chapiev after. We are running Nikolai Kuznetsov. We are not running the Commander. I will show you both our build, which you can kind of see there, and then the unique Commander Chapiev herself. But the stats are as follows: 37,000 health. It's pretty mid-tier for cruisers of tier 7 there. 12 guns, 150 of 152 caliber with the better HE penetration, as we mentioned in the game. I think it's quarter pen. I'm not exactly sure. I'd need to double check on that. I know it is better though. The penetration is base, with the ship itself better without the commander. So something to keep in mind. You will be getting those chunky penetrations that would probably shatter with the normal Chapiev. But 16.9 range there, and even further with refill station, and a 6.3 reload time. Torpedoes, they're the short range battleship deterrent ones. They do a decent chunk of damage, but you have to be 4 kilometers or closer. So by that time, if you're not out angled, then make sure you're angling and using them appropriately. But they're basically just so you can't get rushed. AA defense is pretty mediocre, 68. It's not great. It's not awful either. Anybody focused by a carrier, even with the best AA, is going to have a bad day. Maneuverability is all right. We mentioned, though, that in the game, our large turning circle is your detriment. Your rudder shift doesn't have much to do with it. You have a decent top speed as well, so you can dodge at range, play with your throttle a little bit, but that turning circle is going to, just as I did, kind of lend you to eat battleship shells. Concealment with concealment mod is pretty good. I like running the concealment mod on these things. It teaches you to be a better player, when to shoot, when not to shoot. It allows you to disengage as well. You combine that with your radar. So for example, if our concealment is 11.7 and we are detected at 11.7 and we have not shot, you can pop your radar and any ships inside that radar or inside your concealment will be detected. And that is part of the reason I like running that on these cruisers. This isn't necessarily a stealth radar, but we could get, I don't know if I have, I do have Makawa. So if I upgrade Makawa one more, I can get what they call a stealth radar. Which is, a competitive build, but maybe not necessarily the best solo build, but just something I like to run on my cruisers. Again, it kind of lends you to be a better cruiser player. Let's go and look at the armor profile. 26mm nose, which I don't know if that's the same as Choppy, but we'll compare here very shortly. But a fairly squishy ship overall. It's one of those Russian cruisers that will take a lot of penetrations, but for some reason gets overpenned by a lot when I feel like I'm shooting at, despite this massive Citadel. Yeah, look at that thing. No wonder we got Citadel early game. But I'm lucky I didn't take more. So just a huge Citadel there. Look at all that plunging fire space, and it doesn't really have the best deck either. So a 30mm deck, but at long range, those shells are just going to be skipping right on in instead of skipping off. So keep that in mind. You've also got this little back plate here, which is honestly could have where that AL New Jersey shell hit, but not the best armor profile, so it's going to rely on your positioning, and that's kind of the playstyle of the old Chapiev here. We're going to quickly review these stats. Now, we are running the same commander, 37,000 health. We do have a little bit further range. I might have a different modification and a little bit slower reload time with a better turret traverse. 17% fire chance, though, compared to the AL Chapiev. With a 10% fire chance there, and we are running we are running the same commander, but we are running a different modification there. As you can see, we've got range, and then we have reload on this one, so keep that in mind. I probably need to change the range on this. This was back when I was a bad player who used to spam at 19 kilometers and not do that much for my team. But besides that, the only other stats to really change, AA defense, I think, is exactly the same, and the maneuverability is very similar. I think we are running steering gears on this. So the same ship. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not a huge fan of the reskins. I know, like we mentioned, the AL New Jersey is going to be a fan favorite, and I do think it's a little bit better than the Iowa. Yeah, we'll have a video coming out on that. The commander, we were running was Nikolai Kuznetsov with double fire, punch through, fixated, and refill station. This is just I'm at the point where I'm so sick of switching commander builds. This is just what I had on the AL Choppy at the time. This is probably not the best build. Some of you are probably looking at this build like, why would you be running this? But this is what we were running. Now, the unique commander that they give for this ship is AL Chapiev. But honestly, her perks, besides the ones very visible on screen right now, even more so now, they're not that great. Beyond range, it seems like they're combining offensive and defensive commanders, but that it doesn't really lend you the best build in most cases, other than AL New Jersey, which we mentioned in the video. But this is the build I would run here. Now, this is her special perk, Cavalier of the Ether. It increases your gun damage, your HE shell damage, but you don't need this with the AL Chapiev. Now, putting this on the normal Chapiev might be necessary, as Prophet sends me a message there, but that might be a decent build for the normal Chapiev, because you already have that a little bit better fire chance, and then you can get that what they call EOP. So combining this with EOP would do absolutely nothing for you. You're just going to be getting more penetration. So the only thing you might penetrate beyond that is like main belts of battleships and things like that. So you could you could run this as a meme build and always get damage. But you're significantly reducing your fire chance. And if you know where to aim, superstructure, bow, stern, the weak parts of cruisers, other than basically the main armor belt, you're going to be getting damage in the AL Chapiev regardless. So kind of a wasted build if you're running that. But if you want to get the the weeb girls with the giant then yeah, make sure you buy her. But that is the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This would not be top on any any buying list for me personally, but there you guys have it, a full review. I might put this as the thumbnail for obvious reasons, but yeah, Wargaming sure does know how to get the anime lovers into the game. But hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let me know what you guys think down below. AA Run out. Peace.